Welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking at a stack of economic research from David Abbott, some street-level case studies from Nairobi, and reports on the shifting NGO landscape. Our mission today, to figure out why up to 70% of Kenyan small businesses fail within their first 3 years.
Yeah, that statistic is just brutal.
It is. But the research makes this crucial reframe right off the bat. This failure, it is not random bad luck, it is structural. I mean, most of these businesses are simply solving the wrong problem entirely.
Right, because when a business is operating in survival mode, the structural flaws in its foundation kind of become invisible. The immediate instinct is to just blame the economy or, a lack of funding.
Let's actually look at that funding instinct for a second. If you ask almost any struggling owner in Nairobi what they need, they just ask for a loan. And banks really reinforce this because they see access to finance as the ultimate silver bullet.
Exactly. But, banks are essentially just inventory managers. Money is their stock.
Yeah.
They aren't actually risk takers investing in a business model. They are really just renting out their inventory.
Wait, I have to push back a bit on that, though. Surely, sometimes, access to capital genuinely is the main constraint for survival. Like if you cannot buy inventory, you literally cannot sell.
Well, yeah, liquidity obviously matters, but injecting cash into an undifferentiated business, one with weak systems and zero repeat customers, that is not an investment.
Right.
It is deferred failure. I mean, if a business is competing solely on price with no unique value proposition, credit just buys a few more months of a very slow bleed.
Deferred failure, wow. Which brings us right into the Nairobi 2025 reality. Abbott's research calls this competing on sameness, or imitation economics.
No, absolutely.
You walk down one single block and you see like 10 identical Matumba sellers, or rows of shops selling the exact same phone accessories.
Yeah, or clusters of those small supermarkets fighting over razor-thin margins. They are targeting the exact same customers with absolutely no meaningful difference.
So the real question is, practically speaking, how does a struggling owner actually break out of that commodity trap? Not in theory, but in practice in Nairobi right now.
Well, you cannot just push more inventory. Look at the hardware store example in the case studies. They did not survive by just selling cheaper bags of cement.
They completely reframed it.
Yes, exactly. They shifted to selling fast, affordable, rural house completion solutions. That totally changes the value proposition.
Oh, and the hair salon example, too.
Yeah.
Shifting from just cutting hair to selling confidence and grooming subscriptions.
Right, professional image management. Markets reward specialists who build trust and remove very specific frictions. The owners who thrive figure out a painful, recurring problem for their customer and solve that.
Instead of just acting as a generic distribution point for identical commodities.
Precisely.
Okay, so this trap where injecting cash into structurally flawed systems just defers failure, it is not just small dukas facing this. Massive international development partners are hitting the exact same wall.
Oh, big time. The demise of USAID in January 2025 sent a massive shockwave through the whole sector precisely because of this. It forced a massive reality check on global aid priorities.
Because the traditional development partner model relies so heavily on, rigid 5-year plans and log frames.
Which mechanically lock you in. You commit to solving a problem that might not even exist 2 years down the line.
Yeah, you spend 5 years executing a slide deck while the market completely shifts. So I have to ask directly, is the development partner model itself the actual problem being poorly solved?
The leading edge organizations are realizing that, yes, it kind of is. And they are moving toward a venture capital approach. You see, a 5-year plan assumes the market just freezes while you work.
Which obviously never happens.
Never. The venture capital alternative works because it expects continuous change. They use shorter timeframes, quick test and learn cycles. Capital only flows to solutions that actively prove they work in real time.
So it cuts off that slow bleed of funds to outdated jargon. It is a fundamental shift toward commercial outcomes and actual problem solving.
Exactly. The economist Joseph Schumpeter called this creative destruction. And this perennial gale of competitive destruction, it is not some academic theory, and it is not coming later.
It is here.
Yes, it is happening right now to every DUCA, to every development partner, and to every organization running an old model in a market that has already moved on.
Which brings us directly back to you listening to this deep dive. If your organization is ready to stop competing on sameness and start actually solving the real problem, the team at A Catalyst tackles exactly this challenge. You can find them at www.acatalyst.co.ke.
Because surviving the storm means adapting to the brutal reality of your market today.
Exactly. So we leave you with this to mull over today. Look at your own daily grind. Are you actually solving a painful, recurring problem, or are you just selling identical inventory?